Social Security benefits have actually increased for some people because of the Social Security Fairness Act that was passed late in 2024. Today, you can learn all about it on Friends Talk Financial Planning. Hi, I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel, and I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shear. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. And joining us today is our special guest, Dennis Heywood, who does Social Security consulting for both Bridget's and my firm. And we're really interested and looking forward, Denny, to have you tell us more about the Social Security Fairness Act. Thanks so much for being here. Maybe you could start just by giving us a little background for our viewers on your experience.
Sure, John. Thank you. Bridget, thank you. My experience is that I worked for Social Security for 30 years, and I retired and I took my pension, which is part of that offset we're going to talk about today. And I've been consulting with individuals and businesses, financial planners, estate planning attorneys since about 2006 or 7. My business is called Social Security Solutions. And my experience has been basically with anything to do with Social Security, but I focus on retirement benefits, disability benefits, and survivor benefits.
Yeah, great. And I'll tell you, we'll make sure we get in the show notes here, a link to your website and contact information. Before we hit record here, Bridget and I were just talking about how valuable your advice has been to our clients and us. So, love having the resource. And with that, maybe we could just jump into that Social Security Fairness Act. What is it? I mean, it sounds good, but tell us more.
Sure. Let's go back in history. Back in the early 80s, I think President Reagan was in the office then, and he decided that Social Security needed to be less for people who worked in the government sectors, state, county, city, federal, because the benefits as they were computed back then, a lower benefit, which a lot of us got who worked for the government, a lower benefit, meaning Social Security benefit, was computed in a different manner, and actuarially, you got more money than you should have in a long term than if you had worked full time in the administration. A long story short is we got offset. Anybody who was receiving or could receive Social Security and was entitled to a non-covered pension like state, county, city, federal, their retirement benefit was affected by the law that came through called the Windfall Elimination Provision. So the windfall affected individuals' own retirement benefit. The government pension offset is an offset on anybody who worked in the public sector, like I did, and was entitled to a spousal benefit or a widow benefit. So we've been offset. Roughly, the maximum offset on a windfall elimination is about $500, $600 a month now. So your Social Security would be reduced about that much. And the government pension offset offsets individuals receiving any spousal or widower benefit by 2/3 of their government pension. So if you were getting $3,000 a month, $2,000 of it would offset any spousal or widow benefit you got. In short, the Social Security Fairness Act eliminated the Windfall Elimination Provision and eliminated the government pension offset effective January of 24. So the cash has been rolling out. I've got my back pay to January 24. Many people have. If you filed for Social Security benefits on your own record, you were going to get something. And that something has been increased because of the elimination of the windfall provision, that $500 or $600 a month. And you got paid back to January of 24. Other people were subject to the windfall and the government pension offset because their own retirement benefit was reduced, and what they could receive as a widow or widower was also reduced by 2/3 of their pension. That's been eliminated. These people will get a back pay check to January of 24. And a lot of us have gotten that check. Here's the crux of the problem. The problem is there are a lot of people out there who never filed, who were told by Social Security, you can't get any widow or spousal benefit or widower benefit because your pension, 2/3 of it, $2,000 on a $3,000 offsets any widow benefit. So they made a phone call back when they thought they could get it. They were told no, and they never filed. All right. That's the problem. There's a bunch of people out there. Yeah.
Can I jump in? Thanks so much for describing this. So I just want to clarify that point. Like if my benefit is $3,000, right? So 2/3 of it offset, and I'd qualify for widower benefit. But if my widower benefit was only 1,000, it would wipe that out. So I wouldn't have applied 10 years ago, sort of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
But today I could get it, but I've got to do something in order to get there. Is that right?
Right. The gist of this problem is people need to call and make an appointment. That protects them for filing, period.
Okay.
There are people now. Go ahead, Bridget. I'm sorry.
The people that really need to call the most are people that actually aren't getting a benefit.
Exactly.
But they think maybe they could because their spouse died.
Maybe they could. Right.
Okay.
They need to insist on filing. Don't take a verbal, oh, you're not entitled. Okay. When you call Social Security, insist on filing an application, and that will protect them. I have a friend, he worked in the school system. His wife gets Social Security. He never paid into Social Security. He got a high pension. Now he gets half of hers. He got paid back about $7,000.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's
said,
interesting.
you need to file an application. So anybody who thinks that they might be entitled to their spouses, if their wife or husband's still alive, or as a widower, needs to file an application right now. Call and make an appointment, period.
And so let me just make sure that I'm getting this too. So the people that are most important to take action are people who aren't getting a benefit, but whose spouse passed away.
And their spouse may be alive too. I mean,
their spouse may be alive. Okay, great.
Right.
Okay.
Either they passed away or they're alive.
But they're usually, you've got to be involved in a state or local pension for this to matter to you. So state or local pension.
Or federal too, yeah.
County, federal.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, great.
Right.
Yeah, but like if I have a pension from Accenture, it doesn't apply to me, right? It's only if it's
only a government-based pension.
A government pension. Okay.
Right. Only a public pension.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I'm in the system, they might reach out to me. But if I'm not in the system, I got to make sure I take action.
If you're in the system, you're going to get a back pay check eventually.
Okay.
They've been March and April, they've been sending them out. Some are more complicated than others. But because if you're getting a windfall hit and you're also a government pension offset hit, it's a combination of what they have to pay you back is on both records. But call and make an appointment to file. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the government pension offset side, anybody who's getting a WEP, who is affected by the WEP, their own retirement benefit, you're okay. You're going to get back paid. And if you were getting a spousal benefit or a widower benefit, you're going to be back paid. It's the people who never filed that could be eligible, and I'm talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah, this is super helpful, Denny. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like you can get both the back pay plus increased benefits going forward.
Right. Exactly. I had a quick story. I had a widow. She filed an application when her husband died 15 years ago and was denied because her pension was too high. Guess what she got last month? $30,000 in back pay. Because you're really not denied. You're set on the system in offset. And she was totally offset. When they passed this law, it generated a check to her at about $2,000 a month for 12 months going back. So she was on the rolls. So the people I'm worried about are not on the rolls at all.
Okay.
Never filed.
Yeah.
It also
And-
seems like some people have been notified. Like, so there's some heads up from people. Like people that I've talked to are like, yeah, I got a letter. And so I know that it's in the works. Two people that I talked to said that. So it's like, if you haven't heard anything, it's even more important. That's what I would say.
Right, exactly. When some people are in the mix and haven't gotten their back pay yet, all right, they should be
Right.
all right. You can call and check on it if you want to, but because not all the back pays have been sent out yet. Some are
Okay.
more complicated than mine, but others
Right.
who have never filed and are getting a little Social Security or none, they need to file, make an appointment and file an application, period.
And that's
Great.
the other really key thing I heard you say, Denny, was make an appointment, go down and talk to somebody and insist on filing, right? Not just
Right.
taking them in two things that it could be easy to overlook. All right, I called in and somebody told me I couldn't get this or what. You're like, no, make an appointment, insist on filing.
Insist on filing. Call the 800 number, 800-772-1213.
Great. Seems like a great time to wrap up this episode. I'm Bridget Sullivan Mermel. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm John Shear. I've got a fee-only financial planning practice in Middleton, Wisconsin. Both Bridget and I are members of the Alliance of Comprehensive Planners. And so we're both taking on clients. If you like what you hear on our show and want somebody in your area, you can check out acplanners.org. And thanks so much to our special guest, Denny Heywood. From listening to this, obviously, Denny is the man to go to when it comes to these things. If you have any questions, contact Denny at Social Security Solutions and check the show notes. We'll make sure to have his contact information in there. Thanks so much, Denny, for your time today.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Bridget.
And please subscribe.